G'day guys, I'm Greg and welcome back to my training room. I apologise for the delay between videos. What can I say, life gets in the way sometimes. Anyway, here we are making another video just to give you an update on what I've been doing since the last one. I will begin by saying, you can see in front of me here, this is quite a bare space. The track is gone from this peninsula section of the layout. Being such a great fiance, I have given this table to my partner for our wedding planning. This just happens to be the exact same dimensions, once I removed the curved bit at the end, as the tables at our wedding venue. So I've taken everything off this so we can sort of lay things out and determine our table settings for the wedding. Plus also it's then become the craft table for making everything for the wedding. So this will no longer be a train table for the next few months. Once the wedding's gone, I've got some big plans for it, but we will come to that after then. In the meantime, a lot more going on. In this video we're chatting about finishing off the track laying, powering the track, some scenery work, and some of my rolling stock projects. So stick around, let's get into it. So I've reached a very exciting milestone in the layout build. That is, all the track for Sydney Terminal, platforms 1 through 4, has now been laid. So although it's not the exact, I suppose, placement of the points, all the points there are correct. So I'm very happy with this. My track laying skills got better and better as I went along. You might see here there's some larger gaps between the rails down here. Not that the trains have any issues with that, but as we get to this end, those gaps get tighter and tighter. The technique for laying the track, or for cutting the track I suppose, was using a pair of track cutters or track snips, side cutters, and then make sure that they're a tad long, and then filing those down with a cut-off disc on a Dremel tool just to get them down to the right length. So I'm very, very happy with this. All the roads are reasonably straight in there. Still with a little bit of natural variation, which I think does occur in real life as well. Next step in the scenery of this area, or scenicking I suppose is the better word, is platforms and then ballasting. I think that's a better way to do it. Let me know if you think ballasting than platform is a better way, but I think there I can sort of ballast right up to the edge of the platform and not have any weird gaps and whatnot. Still trying to decide what to use for the platforms. So I have previously built these Metcalf platform kits. I picked one up cheap at a second-hand store at a expo, and yeah, it's very solid for what it is, just cardboard. I quite like it, but it is a lot of work, and as you can see, this one here would take me a few hours, and it's half the length of what I need for one of the platforms. So another option is to use that solid insulation foam. I'll have to get myself a hot wire cutter and a jig to do that. And then another option is balsa wood. So still tossing up with some ideas there, but we'll sort of play around with that. And that's the whole idea of this layout, is to be a test for what I find easiest to work with, and cheapest too, definitely helps. So we might even do one with foam, one with Metcalf, and one with balsa wood, and sort of see what works and what doesn't work, and what I like and what I don't like. Another very exciting part of the layout that I'm very glad I've gotten done is this, I suppose you call it mimic board or route selection panel. Still got labelled up, so not quite finished, but basically done. This will allow me, if you've seen previous videos, I made a very simple one just for the first two, actually just these turnouts here. And that was a bit of overkill for the one set of crossovers, I should say. But that gave me the opportunity to then upscale it to this, which then becomes a very simple way of controlling what will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I suppose 6 again, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 turnouts. I think that's all of them. The turnouts inside the loco releases here will be, I think, manually controlled some way, maybe still via electronic points or possibly via point rodding. Still have to work that one out. But yeah, the basic concept is when you've got a green light here, you are free to select any route. So, and then this is our up or inbound platform and our down or outbound trains. So if we have an inbound train coming in, we would select this one here. Our light turns blue saying you've selected an input or an output. Now select the platform. So let's say I want to go to platform, let's start with platform 1, very simple. And then we'll get the route come up like that. The next step is to install point motors for all the points that this will control. And then this will then throw those points. So I already have these 2 points in here, controlled by a relay there. So that's those 2 points there. Now I need to fill in the rest here. And then once the train has gone through, you can then, while the light is red, I should say, you can't select anything else. So you can't change these. You can't select a new input or output. It's frozen in that state until you clear the board. And then so conversely, if we want a down train, so we want a train that's going to be leaving central, we then select that button. And let's say we've got a train departing from platform 5. Sorry, that's not platform 5, that's platform 4. There's 5 buttons, so platform 1, platform 2, platform 3, platform 4, and the relief. Yeah, very, very happy with this. Not very happy with the I suppose fascia or the cover of it. This was spray painted white. I then cut out small bits of tape to mark in between, lay that tape on, and then spray paint the whole thing black and then pull the tape off. And look, it's a very, what's the word? Calming exercise. Taking all these little bits, cutting all these little bits of tape, putting them on, then take them off again. But yeah, not the greatest turnout. It definitely does the job. But I think my next big investment for the hobby will be a laser cutter, and then I'll be able to make a much nicer display board here. So yeah, we'll clear that off again. And so yeah, the next step with this, let's have a look underneath. How about that? So this is all the wiring under there. This is all controlled by a Arduino Uno sitting under there. This is just a prototyping shield placed on top, so you can put inputs and outputs, solder things in there if we need be. And then eventually, so all this is coming in is a 5 volt positive and negative coming in, and then we have 8, I think it's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 8 outputs, which is just enough to control all the pairs of points I will have. So we'll send that out, build some relays to control all the points. That'll be in the next video. Along with laying down the track for the main yard, I also had to wire the main yard. And I was umming and ahhing about the best way to do this. I've seen a lot of people use the buses with then, I suppose, suitcase connectors, I think they're called, where basically they just clip onto the wire. I don't love the idea of doing this, and it's also very expensive to get a number of those. And I wanted to basically have every section between points has its own feeder. In some cases there's 2 if it's 2 bits of track, but yeah, basically that's the idea. So instead what I did is I had this copper wire from somewhere. It's amazing just things you collect over time, isn't it? So all I've done is just strung up 2 pieces of copper wire that runs the full length of the board, and then simply solder the droppers directly to those. I've put them very far apart, so there's no chance of the bare wires touching and just run black to the front, red to the back. I know that's a bit backwards to what it normally is, but that's just what I've gone with here. There's no right or wrong reason. Down this end of the layout, I have done a little bit of scenery. We recently had our scale model expo for the club I'm in here, and just to sort of show off what I'm doing and sort of promote the channel a little bit, I took this module just as a layout under construction display, and all I did was a little bit of ballasting and some ground cover. I went to do some static grass and found out my static grass applicator wasn't working. Not surprising after sitting in a box for 5 to 10 years. So I'll get that one fixed and get some static grass on there, but it always amazes me just what a difference it makes. Even a simple bit of scenery really brings the track to life. And to make it removable, I have screwed on some perf board onto the baseboard. The perf board's about the same thickness as the rail ties, and I've got I think it's a bit of millimeter, bit of, I say 3mm MDF, which is the same height as my underlay there. So that brings it up to the same height as the bottom of the rail, and then just, well, in this case, a lot of solder, just to make sure it all doesn't move. I used a Dremel to create these gaps, and I was concerned that some of them were a bit large, but it appears that the trains don't even notice them. So this one's over here a little bit better, but this one here is quite large, but yeah, the train runs over that just fine, so very happy with that. So I'll be installing some more of those in there at some point when I pull these apart and get some more alignment dowels. So these baseboards are joined with the DCC Concepts alignment dowels. These ones here are just screwed together. So I'll pull up this bit of track, pull them apart, put some alignment dowels in there, and then reinstall with the perf board connectors. While at the expo, because I wasn't selling too much and I didn't have the most amazing display, I had a lot of free time. No one was talking to me that much. So I started working on some girder bridges, or some girders for the bridge, I should say. So these will span this gap here. So these are modelled off the Emu Plains Underbridge at Penrith, which is a part of the network I would like to model at some point in the future, so I thought I'd practice scratch building a bridge. So as well as track laying, which is probably my favourite part of the hobby, along with sort of planning and then the electrical stuff, I have tried to delve into modelling, which is definitely not my favourite part of the hobby. So I have started my modelling of the AK inspection cars. These started life as these River Rossi Southern Pacific Lines passenger cars. I wish I could tell you more detailed. This one's a chair car, as I can read on the side there. Basically stripped the paint off this and then painted them this metallic silver. Oh, sorry about that. Lucky they're cheap, hey? Painted them this metallic silver. That is not on there at all. There we go. Doing this through a camera. Oh, no, it's on. I am very not happy with this paint. Originally I painted it grey, which I didn't like, and then I went to a Warhammer store to find some stainless steel, and yeah, I've gone a bit too shiny, a bit too metallic here, a bit too comical. So that's just something that I got to work on and find just the right colour. If these do work out, I will do an independent video on how I did this, because I think I couldn't find much on just sort of simple, repainting of wagons. And look, if I can do one video and helps a few people have a crack at it, then I'll be very happy with that. The biggest part of this was also replacing the couplers. As you can see, these ones here have the old American style U-shaped couplers there. And after asking a few people on Facebook and whatnot as the best way to replace these, I've gone with the micro trains. I think it's 1017 couplers. Just replacing the whole bogey set with the micro scale like couplers. They are not cheap, and possibly instead of replacing all of them, because this will be just the a set of 3 cars, I will just paint, well actually I'm going to paint these ones black to match the prototype, so I can leave these ones as is, and then just replace the wheels, the wheel set and couplers on either end of the thing, and leave these old style couplers in the middle, because basically they'll be permanently coupled together, and in the long run I might actually permanently couple them, but for now this will do the job. Another exciting addition to my layout is this kit for the Sydney Suburban S-Set cars. This is my first ever kit, and suffice to say I'm quite nervous about this, but I'm also very excited to have these on the layout. Basically, there's a bloke on Facebook who has designed these and then 3D prints them to order. And yeah, they come just as a plastic kit. 3 with seats inside of them. I've got the other one over there, and then 1 which will become one of these, which is the power car. I can't remember which one, but that's okay. And yeah, basically you got paint, supply your own chassis for the power car, wheels, couplers, all that fun stuff. And basically they're going to be the same paint scheme as my AK cars. So once I work out a nice paint that I like, I will then move to painting these. Oh, I should mention before, this was painted by brush, which is probably also adding to the tackiness of it, I suppose I'll say. I would like to invest in an airbrush at some point, but at the moment, just a fine little brush does that. But for these, with all these fine details, I don't want to risk A, missing a bit, or B, putting too much paint somewhere. I think I will do these with an airbrush once I have my preferred paint color. But yeah, very exciting to have these sitting at Sydney Terminal as well. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Any comments, suggestions, questions, or critics, put them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer, and more than happy to take you along on this journey with me. One last thing before I do sign off, I just want to point out, you may have noticed a new bit of decor in the train room. This is from a old New South Wales Government Railways blanket. I bought this at auction, again, years and years and years ago. You probably see a trend as we go through these videos. A lot of stuff I'm pulling out are things I've had for years and just never used, but always bought and thought, sure, I can do something with that. Anyhow, we're doing a bit of tidy up, and my fiance pulled this out and said, "Radio, what are we doing with this?" And I said, "Oh, I'm sure we can do something with it." And I'm pretty sure it's her idea to turn into a bit of a picture. So all I've gone to Vinnie's or Salvo's, an op shop, where I can't remember which one it was, picked up an old wooden frame. Sorry, no, an old, canvas picture. And then what we've done, this is about 1/4 of the blanket. So we've cut it out and then stapled it on, pulled tight and stapled onto the frame. Now, so it's a nice little wall hanging. I've actually just realised that the jumper matches the blanket there. Maybe I have to get New South Wales Government Railways embroidered on this one as well, just to really fit in. But like I said, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. See you later.